How y'all doing? John, I want to start off by saying thanks a lot. That's the nicest introduction I ever got. That makes me want to go into politics. It's a joke. I just think it'd be cool to stand up here and say, "Hi, I'm Tommy Franks, and I approve that message." It's genuine. It's a genuine hoot to be here with all of you and to be here with these magnificent young people. Any of y'all ever watch Duck Dynasty? There's a worldwide, he's known around the world philosopher on that show, and that's Cy. And if Cy was standing here right now, he'd say, "Hey, Jack, it's cool." And that's how I feel, standing here in this stadium with the Lynches, with all of you. Hey, Jack, that's cool. We came up from Roosevelt, Oklahoma yesterday. Am I talking slow enough for y'all? We came up from Roosevelt, Oklahoma yesterday, population 283. How many of y'all been to Roosevelt? Yeah, I see one. Well, where do the rest of you go on vacation? I asked John Lynch I said, "Hey, 47, what do you think I ought to talk about?" And he said, "Probably about 10 minutes. I asked my wife what she thought I ought to talk about. And she said, "Well, honey," that's what she calls me. That's her right there. She's pretty too. Thank you. She said, "Honey, I think you ought to talk about whatever you want to talk about. If I were you, I'd try to keep it on a subject that you know something about." I said, "That's good advice, honey." That's what I call her. She said, "If I was you, I'd stay away from anything about academics or athletics." I've been married going on 44 years. Hey, Jack. It's a treat to be in Denver, home of the Broncos. Got a Bass Pro. Got two Cabela's. Got the Broncos. Got Peyton Manning. That's cool, Jack. I walked out here and I looked out around the 50-yard line and I thought about that story that John Lynch mentioned. Now I'll tell you the real story. Communicate to you why it's a special treat to be here with all of you, supporters and friends, stars, families, in a wonderful country. Touched my heart when we had that color guard come out here. We had everybody stand up and listen to our Star Spangled Banner. Hey, Jack, that's cool. I remember when I met John Lynch, as he said, it was on the 50-yard line, and I was honored to be able to do the coin toss. And I did that. And all the players were out there laughing and scratching, stretching and carrying on, except for 47. And I looked down in the end zone after the colors came in and everybody stood, and it was right after 9/11. Put their hands on their hearts like we're supposed to. Had our national anthem. And then the troopers walked off carrying the flags and whatnot, just like they did today. And I looked down in the end zone, and there's number 47 standing down there hugging all the troopers. Everybody else laughing and scratching, getting ready to play football. Number 47 down there showing respect for our young men and women who serve our country. Hey, Jack, that's cool. Ever since that day, I've admired him. All pro, to be sure. But way, way beyond that, John Lynch and Linda, this family, are truly all Americans. I watched these young people come across this stage, and I thought about what they represent. And I thought about Lynch, and it occurred to me that it takes one to know one. All Americans they are, one and all. The future of our country they are, one and all. And loved. And it reminded me of a lifetime of going to school on my mom and dad and on my coaches, and what I learned, what I wish I had learned a lot sooner than I learned it. Maybe some of you are like that. I told my wife last night, I said, honey, that's what I call her. I said, you know, me and 47 are a lot alike. I was an average high school athlete, and he was an all-pro in the NFL. He graduated from Stanford, and I flunked out of the University of Texas. But there is something we share with all of you. We are all Americans. That's cool, Jack. I remember when I learned, am I talking slow enough for y'all? I remember when I learned the value of character. Do you? I remember seeing these young people come up here, and I remember thinking about the career of Lynch. And what occurs to me is doing the right thing when nobody's watching. I learned it from folks, I learned it from coaches, and I see it exhibited by people like this family sitting behind me. Character. I remember when I first learned the value of teamwork. It took me a long time. In fact, life is a team sport. And these young people walked across this stage, and the honors they received are because they willing to play as part of the team. Life is a team sport. Hey, Jack, that's cool. I learned that leadership comes from the front, not from behind. I learned that leadership comes from stepping up, I think the words John used. Step up when somebody needs to step up. Do it by example. Any of us, could we say that we didn't see a pretty good example from these young people? Walked across this stage, hey, Jack, that's cool. Somebody told me one time that people don't care what you know until they know how much you care. I see the heads nod out here. I see the kindness that sits back here. I see the love for the community, the love for our young people, the love for our country. It reminds me of my dad. My dad taught me a lot of stuff. If I'd have been quicker, I'd have learned it earlier. But he taught me a lot of stuff. My dad taught me about the value of focus in my life. My dad taught me about the value of putting energy behind your focus. My dad taught me the value of stepping up and taking the blame when nobody else will. The honors will come all by themselves. My dad taught me about the value of caring. And probably the most important thing of all, my dad taught me about the value of washing windows. I'll guarantee you that the people who walked across this stage and the people sitting behind me up here do windows. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you been around people who will tell you, no, I can't do that. That's not in my job description. I'm not going to pick up a piece of paper. I'm not going to go hug a trooper. I'm not going to stand up and accept responsibility for who I am. Well, that's what I call windows. And my dad told me that the most successful people in the world are people who are willing to do windows. I saw these youngsters come across here and I thought about every single one of them and their self-discipline and their willingness to do the right thing when nobody's watching, and how proud they are of themselves and how willing they are to step into the future. I'm approaching 10 minutes, John. Hey, Jack. That's cool. I remember when I was in the 4th grade, best 3 years of my life. I had just learned to read. And the first book I read was a book about Julius Caesar. I'll never forget it. And in that book it said, Julius Caesar was a general. He made real long speeches, and they killed him. Hey, Jack. I'm done. I want to say thanks to all of you who support this wonderful program, who love our children, who love our country. You're very special. It gives me cause to have confidence in America. God bless these kids. God bless all of you. God bless America.